We're talking about reducing the friction, and today we're going to be centering it around goals. Whenever you hear the word goals, makes you want to crawl into a hole. But there's really these unmet expectations when it comes to goals because if we're not really clear about where we're going, it's going to get really, really frustrating really fast. If you guys remember good old Alice in Wonderland, Cheshire Cat, and Alice, when she was asked, where do you want to go, Alice? And Alice says, I don't much care where. And then the Cheshire Cat replies, then it doesn't much matter which way you go. And I think we operate that way in so many different situations. I know I do as well. And so I think it's important for us to understand the goal is a great starting place in order for you to reduce friction and minimize the unmet expectations. I remember sitting down years ago with a young man who was really interested in getting in the industry of commercial lending. And we sat down for lunch. And at some point I said, well, what do you want to try to do? And he says, I want to be rich. And I said, okay, but why? What is the main purpose and the goal of you wanting to be rich? And he just went blank. And he's young and I get it. But again, really understanding why and what is the goal can really minimize fuzz and the muddle and the fog. So I want to walk through 3 different ways to get a good goal and a framework around setting a goal when it comes to going out to get a commercial real estate loan. And the first one is to know who you are. And you say, what are you talking about? And I think it's really important because each one of us is so different and so distinct and so unique that we all have our own different value system. And it's important for you to pull back and understand what are the most important core values for me, my temperament, what's important to me, maybe taking a look at some of my past, things that didn't quite work out, to pull it to today and say, who really am I? What matters the most? And that's going to come back to your values. So the first thing is really get to know who you are. And so you can start to set a framework of what is that goal that I'm trying to achieve. The second thing is know the urgent, knowing the urgent. They call that the tyranny of the urgent. You're going to have to focus on one thing. I can't tell you how many clients come in here and they're like, well, I want the rate and the high loan to value, and I want to make sure that the term is fixed for this period of time, and I want interest only. And it starts to just go, whoa, too many competing and conflicting things. You're not going to make traction. So cut off some of those chains and make sure you get laser focused. What is the most important, urgent thing that matters for your particular loan that's going to move the needle? You're going to have to drop some of those things if you want to have success and reduce the friction. The third thing is you got to know the end. Steve Covey always says, begin with the end in mind. You need to do the same thing for your project. Is this a high-class project you're trying to accomplish? Is this one of those low-class projects? Is it somewhere in the middle? Understand what you want to try to achieve at the end of this thing. It's going to take a little visioning on your part, maybe stepping back, but I think that will help hone in and give you more focus on your purpose and ultimately have a better outcome. So again, just to recap, know who you are, look at your values, know the urgent, what's the most important thing, and then know the end. I think if you do this, the result is going to be freedom of time because you're going to know what to say no to. That's probably more important than anything. I always say we're in the business of disqualifying as opposed to qualifying. So there's your reduction of friction when it comes to goals.